let us continue. So, I think we're just in like this common room or this meeting room or something like that.
Yeah, or we just left it to go to our quarters or something, right?
Well, it says a night's rest. I assume we're not sleeping yet, but maybe we are. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's a good question. I guess we'll find out. All right, chapter 6, a night's rest. You don't have long to wait for Godfrey, who, as it turns out, is an impossibly old man. He enters the salon. I guess we're in a salon. Mere moments after Oriana leaves, glaring up at you with black beads of eyes until you relinquish your bag. He sighs deeply under its weight, but it barely worsens the stoop of his shoulders. He stares at you implacably. There's still no sign of Sophia, and Oriana did insist that she wasn't returning. Does Sophia often do this? Perhaps I can learn more from Godfrey as we go. I should wait for Sophia. I am her guest, after all. I ask Godfrey if he can bring his mistress back here.
I think the first one might be information giving. Although I don't know if he talks.
Yeah, I'm okay with following Godfrey and just being like, yo, tell me some jazz and such. Yeah, let's do that. If you would like to continue.
You're not entirely surprised that Sophia is mercurial. Your upper-class clients are sometimes all too happy to forget that you are a person, much like them, and that your time has value to you. Of course, normally they're paying you for the privilege of wasting your time. But there's nothing to be done for it now.
Oh, yes, right. I forgot we were doing that. Does your mistress often abandon her guests?
Godfrey squints at you.
I serve no mistress. I serve the house.
His voice is hoarse with age or infirmity. Sorry.
That's good. That's good. It said horse. I don't know what horse with age means. It sounded infirm.
No, it was great. It was great. No love lost between them, then, but he hasn't answered your question.
I see. But Lady Reeves, does she do this often when she has guests?
Deeper lines furrow his wrinkled brow.
I cannot answer that,
He says, fairly done. Loyal servants are always difficult interview subjects. Without waiting for any further questions, Godfrey turns and leaves, taking your bags with him. Surprisingly, you need to lengthen your stride to catch up with him. Before age settled onto him so thoroughly, he might have been a large man, but even now he takes the stairs with brisk efficiency. The portrait of the former Lord Reeves stares down at you as you pass. Sparing him a second glance, you wonder whether the portraitist intended to make him look quite so strained. His fingers are white where they dig into the empty chair he stands beside. Godfrey leads you down a long hallway, lit by candles that flicker in a few of the sconces along the walls. Though it's difficult to see much beyond the uneven light, this hall seems neglected. Dusty cobwebs sag in the corners, and you can see stone through torn sections of dark damask. A warm glow spills onto the hall from one open door. Godfrey stops at its threshold.
The Violet Room,
He says. He drops your bag to the ground without ceremony, turns his back to you, and walks away.
I love this guy. I want to be Godfrey.
Oh my goodness.
If I was to actually, like, if this was a movie script and I was like there's gonna be a movie of this, I would totally just try and be Godfrey. I would try out for Godfrey. I'd be stooping and everything, and then anyway. It's still early. I'll take a look around. I'd best hurry inside to get the room secured. Unseen danger could await me anywhere, so I need to be cautious. I almost feel like last two are the same thing. But what do you guys think? Let's go ahead and do the poll, shall we? What choice shall we make?
I feel like one's a bad idea, but I voted for it anyways.
Of course you did. I'm gonna guess you voted for the first one. Well, I'm gonna vote for the smart thing. Alright. Looks like the number ones have it. Likely Grayce and Cap. The room beyond the door is inviting, but not as inviting as the dark halls and mysterious doors. You passed 3 on your way here, and there are likely more ahead in the darkness. Morning is a long way off, and you're here for a purpose after all. You set out, but it takes only a little time to discover that you were mistaken. If there were 3 doors in your path, you should have encountered one already. You look back, wondering if there was a turn in your path that you neglected to note, only to find that you can no longer see the door to your room. The darkness now nestles right behind you. Perhaps the candles were extinguished by a gust of wind? Slender fingers close around your elbow before you can turn to retrace your steps.
I should not recommend that,
says Oriana. She sounds amused, though you can't quite make her out in the darkness.
I'm sure her ladyship cautioned you against wandering the halls at night, did she not?
When you admit that you recall something of the sort, she gives your arm a gentle tug.
Come then, you can explore in the light of day. Even we residents avoid some of these halls past midnight.
Admittedly, I actually forgot that she had said that, which she did. She's like, seriously, like, stay out of it for at night. You would swear that she leads you farther from your room, but a few sharp turns leave you at its threshold once more. Oriana makes an unhappy noise at the sight of the violet room.
She would house you here. Well, there's nothing for it now.
She gives you a gentle push, the sudden movement sparking a pain behind your eyes, followed by a pointed look.
Stay here. Do have good dreams.
The door clicks shut behind her. Oh dear. Outnumbered. Good job, Grayce.
The room inside has felt a feminine touch. Of that much you're certain. It looks much newer than the halls outside. The lilac paper on the wall would have been fashionable no more than a few decades ago, and the textiles cover a spectrum of complementary colors. At first glance, the furnishings also seem rather modern. A table and a chair would have been out of place in most well-appointed bedrooms you visited, and the bookshelf would be unthinkable. A closer look shows that the furniture is mismatched, pulled from fashions that span the last century or more. Whoever decorated made the best she could of the manor's existing decor, not content to use the room only for sleep. This is fortunate for your purposes. You waste no time in pulling the chiffonier across the room. Nothing about this place feels quite right, and you can't help but recall the warnings you've been given. Better to be a rude guest than another victim of some malevolent individual or force. After that, you take the usual precautions. Your supply of salt is lower than you'd like, but there's enough for a single windowsill and a doorway. You mutter the words of the spells that will ward off stronger spirits as you work. You secure your belongings out of sight. Whether the threats here are spiritual or mundane, your preparations will serve you well. The day's exertions have quite worn you out. By the time you wash and dress for bed, you can barely keep your eyes open. The heavy oak frame creaks as you climb into the bed. The linens are fresh, the only thing here that feel like they've been changed in a decade or more. As you turn over to get comfortable, you're startled by the glint of eyes from behind the mattress. Your heart stutters in your chest. But no, it's just a doll with button eyes. Well loved, hand stitched, wedged over time between the mattress and the wall. A little time here, and you're already jumping at the shadows.
Burn it. Burn it all.
Get rid of it.
Decapitate it, shove salt down its neck, and then burn it. You sleep. When you open your eyes again, you are not yourself. You are soft, feminine, dark, and a stranger to yourself. Awareness of that slips away, though, for even your thoughts belong to someone else. I'm alone. There's a child with me. A man stands just out of sight. A woman paces outside my door. So so we had a vision before of somebody, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that was to choose something, wasn't it?
I think that was to choose our bravery or something like that.
Maybe. Okay. Lady in the dark, or am I with child, or have a child rather? Man just out of sight. A woman paces outside my door. I have no idea. I'll leave this one to everybody, I guess. I feel like they're all equally random potential.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where they're trying to direct us with this one.
Yeah, I'm feeling like the context is in the house, so I'm thinking like maybe there's like a ghost that we're defining at some level that we're going to be interacting with later.
Ah, okay.
That's my best guess, I guess. Unless it's something to do with our past, so maybe it's like our mother, and there's like different things that we remember about a specific thing. I don't know, it doesn't make... I have no idea. Yeah, that one's the one that sounds interesting to me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You tell yourself that she is perfect, your perfect child. Her father's smile, his nose, your hair and eyes. A happy child, playing cheerfully and even in this haunted place. Oh, I might be right. Not an anchor keeping you here, pulling you down until your head is just barely above water. You want to love her like your father loves you. But you were never your father's jailer. He didn't have to live like a ghost just to stay near you. Didn't have to jump at every shadow. Nathaniel doesn't understand. He adores the child and frets over your unhappiness, but not so much that he wants to understand why you behave like you do. Not enough to protect you from the true threats in the house. Time tangles inward upon itself, and you're somewhere else, moving across space and time without a thought. Now I'm up on the roof, I'm running down the hill, I'm in bed with Nathaniel.
I think Nathaniel was Lord Reeves the first.
That's right, yeah. If he wasn't the first, and he was the most recent that we remember researching?
Yeah, something along those lines.
My morbid side kind of wants to know what happens on the roof. Running down the hill. That could be interesting too, I guess. Not particularly interested in the third one, but whatever. I'll make a vote. That's fine. We'll vote. We're the doctor now. That's right. Now we're the Zelazel. The Zelazel can do this all the time. You know what I'm voting for. Okay, everybody else is voting for it too. Pretty sure we're good. Alright. If you want to continue.
Your back is up against the low wall of the gatehouse, and the child you clutch in your arm is wailing. What are you doing up here? How did you let it come to this? You can't remember why you fled or how you ended up here. There's only you, a ledge, and your child. Do not be foolish, Penelope, you hear from behind you. That woman, waiting on the far side of the wall, taunting you. I know you won't hurt her. If I were going to do you harm, these hysterical threats would do nothing to stop me. Why can't you remember what brought you here? You're trapped with nowhere to go but down. Leave us, you cry, desperately. You're putting her at risk, and I know you're sworn to protect her. Her steady footsteps clip the stones behind you just out of sight. Hand the child over and go. You know you cannot take either of them. I will not stop you. Run and don't come back. This does not have to end in blood, but you have gone too far for it to end in peace. God help you. You believe her. Time twists again, taking you to another place, another time. The world becomes a nightmare, betraying one of the deepest fears that you hold.
What's the fears of everybody? I think we all know what mine are, and if you don't, then well. Below this ledge, the manor seems to stretch forever. There's nowhere to go but down. 8-legged monstrosities climb down the walls. The great black dog paces outside my room, growling. I hear them hiss on the other side of the door, eager to reach me. Uh-oh. Here come the dice. I keep forgetting to set up the dice thing on the stream. Silly me.
Ooh, it's a 3-way tie.
1, 3, or 4. Nobody cares about spiders, I guess.
Spider schmiters.
Alright, 1d6 coming up. It is 3. A great black dog. Interesting. Never ever would have chosen that. But that's cool. I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
The door is shaking, and you brace your feet. You brace your bare feet against the floor. It's not her this time. It's something else. The growl goes on and on, like nothing born of nature. This time you won't be strong enough to hold it off. The baby screams and screams as you press her close to your chest. You tell yourself that you have to protect her from the monster at the door, but deep down you know you won't be able to protect yourself. Deep down, that matters more to you. The creature outside slams into the door with all its weight, yelping as the wood splinters. You pitch forward, curling your body around the child. This is it. This is how you die. You have a hellhound? You have a fear of dogs? Fascinating. Like, just any kind of dog, or like a specific breed? Everything goes dark. You come back to yourself, slowly. It's your skin again, your fingers, your arms. Your damp and heavy night clothes cling to you, but it's devilishly cold. You're on the floor. Why? Sitting up, arms hugging your knees, pressed to the barricade. Nothing is trying to reach you, everything is very still. The moon shines in through the window. You push yourself up, step carefully across the rough floor. Push aside the curtains. There it hangs, heavy and low on the horizon, bright as a beacon, full or shy by a few degrees. It wasn't earlier tonight, and these stars are not the stars you know. Your eyelids are heavy too. You can't seem to keep them open. Is this what sleepwalking feels like? Does it feel like something crawling up over the windowsill to wrap its oily limbs around you? You can only see it behind your eyelids now as you sink back into nothingness. That was a short chapter.
I was thinking the same thing.